Hey everyone, and welcome back. My name's Mackenzie, aka Astromac, and I'm an astrologer, and I'm here to share my astrological musings with you all. Today we are diving into the powerful energy of this new moon in Taurus, happening on Sunday, April 27th at 2:30 p.m. Central Time at 7 degrees and 46 minutes of Taurus. So if you're ready to get grounded and align yourself with your worth and set some intentions that are super long lasting with this like fertile Taurus new moon energy, then this is the new moon for you. So as you can see in this chart, we have the sun and moon in conjunction. That's what a new moon is when the sun and moon come together in the sky. That's why new moons are associated with new beginnings, as they signal the beginning of a new cycle. That's why it's a great time to set new intentions and plant seeds of those things that we want to nurture and grow. And as you can see, both the sun and moon are sitting at 7 degrees and 46 minutes of Taurus. And Taurus is that energy of like fertile soil. So these intentions that we're setting during this time have a lot of potential to grow into something stable and long-lasting. So as we're leading up to this new moon, it's a good time to reflect on those things that we want and need and those things that we truly want to bring into our lives. Now, these intentions that we're setting and the things that we're wanting to manifest are probably not going to be in any kind of rush to get here, because with all things Taurus, it's going to take a little time and a little bit of effort. And that's being accentuated even more because this new moon is being ruled by Venus because it's Taurus and Venus rules Taurus. And in this particular chart, Venus is conjunct Saturn. And with all things Saturnian, it's going to take even more time. So these intentions that we're setting, they're going to take a little bit of time and effort and discipline and hard work. You know, it's not like we can just like plant that seed and hope that it rains and hope that it's in a place that gets adequate sunlight and hope that the soil has the necessary minerals and nutrients. And while yes, there is an element of like trusting because it is in Pisces and having a little faith that these seeds will grow into something, but really with these seeds that we're planting, they're going to require effort and discipline and a lot of bit of patience. And I know like patience and discipline and hard work are not the most fun things to reflect on when we're, setting our intentions. But truthfully, this is a very fertile and abundant new moon that contains a lot of potential. And so when we can really like get our hands into that dirt and like into that soil and work with the energy that way and get real about the things that we want and that are aligned with our self-worth and our values, it's only a matter of time and effort for those to manifest in your physical reality. And so with this new moon energy, we're really creating something that is grounded in reality and something that's long lasting and giving us greater stability and security moving forward. The key with all things Taurus is doing things from like this very grounded and present and cool, calm, and collected state. Now, this new moon is happening on Sunday, the day after the Mars and Pluto opposition was exact. And as we can see here, both Mars and Pluto are still very much in opposition. So we're probably not going to be feeling like the most stable and grounded during this new moon, especially because Venus is also sextile Uranus in this chart. And Uranus likes to kind of shake things up. So if you're finding yourself still feeling super activated from like that Mars-Pluto opposition or this Venus sextile Uranus, that's not the best state to make decisions or plant seeds in. So throughout the day on Sunday, really try grounding yourself and calming down that nervous system and doing those things that are super soothing to you. And it's really about getting into your physical body and getting present and really sitting with yourself and listening to your body and what it wants and needs. If you haven't watched my Taurus video yet, then this would be a good time to go back and watch that, because then you kind of get a good overview of what Taurus energy is all about. And then feeling into this new moon, because with both the sun and moon in Taurus, it's going to be like super Taurus energy. But basically, Taurus is a very like grounded and sensual sign that's all about finding comfort and that feeling of security and stability. And it's all about those things that make life feel good, basically. It's very much about like the finer things in life and treating yourself, and it's more about quality over quantity. So as you're getting present with yourself and with your own energy, it's a good time to listen to what your body wants and needs. Like if you've been depriving yourself lately, then maybe treat yourself. Or if you're feeling tired, then let yourself rest. Or if you're feeling stiff, then maybe give yourself a nice stretch. Everybody's body is different. Everybody has different needs and wants. So this is going to be really a good time to reflect on those things for yourself. Taurus also has to do with our feelings of self-worth, and it's also our values, and it also is like our finances and money. It's also all about connecting with the natural world and its beauty and slowing down to appreciate those things. It's very much about chilling out and stopping to smell the roses and noticing what's going on in your environment around you. I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it's just this very earthy, fertile, abundant energy, almost like the Empress card in tarot. And so when we combine all things Taurus with a new moon, it's about setting intentions for this kind of abundance to manifest in our physical life. Bringing in this feeling of my cup floweth over, and also just greater feelings of self worth. And bringing in more things that help make us feel more secure, like physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So, really take some time on Sunday to really reflect on those things that you truly want. Not those things that you think you should want, or not those things that other people want for you, but what you truly want and need, like your innermost desires, and really be real with yourself. It's not like you have to tell anyone what you're manifesting, this is just for you. So, really own your desires and own those things that you want, and then align yourself in a way that helps set you up for success. And so, depending on where this new moon is happening for you in your own chart, like what house it's happening in, depends on which area of life this abundance is going to be manifesting for you. Now, with this particular Taurus new moon, there's a lot going on. And like I said earlier, we're just coming off of that Pluto and Mars opposition. But they're very much still in opposition, as we can see here. And this new moon, both the sun and moon, form a square to both Mars and Pluto, creating what's known as a fixed T-square, making this a very dynamic and powerful new moon. And it's called a fixed T-square because all of the planets are in fixed signs. So it may feel like there's this layer of resistance or frustration, almost like every planet in this particular aspect is trying to be the top guy and really digging their heels in. And fixed signs are notorious for being stubborn and kind of resisting change, but they're also incredibly stable and determined and persistent. So breaking it down a little bit, Mars is that planet of action and drive and motivation, and Pluto is that planet of transformation and regeneration and death and rebirth. So leading up to this new moon, it could bring up feelings of feeling blocked or stuck or even restricted in some way. Or we're in this in-between space and we don't know where we want to go next. But at the same time, it kind of brings this energy that things are changing and things are shifting underneath the surface. But we're not really sure what it is yet. And so with that Mars-Pluto opposition going exact the day before this new moon on Saturday, it might have brought some shit up to the surface, which can feel really intense, especially when it's things that we didn't know were buried, or we did know were buried, but they've been buried for a while and we just didn't want to deal with it. And there was a reason it was buried. There's a lot of different scenarios. But with this new moon, I really feel like it's helping us to kind of cleanse and clear away and sift through some of that shit that got brought up. And it's not quite like a full moon where we're going to be releasing, but we are releasing in a way with this Mars-Pluto opposition and squaring both of those planets. And so it's kind of like we're relinquishing control almost, because there is only so much that we can control in life. And so with this new moon, I really feel like it's helping us to bring it back to basics and bringing it back to what matters and kind of simplifying our lives after this very activating and intense week we've had. Basically, we can no longer continue with the old, we have to transform. And so the next actions that we take have to be aligned with this new energy. If we keep trying to move forward from that old unhealed space or that old energy, it's not going to get us anywhere, and it's going to keep us repeating a pattern and repeating that loop, basically. So we have to move forward, and we have to move on for our own sake. And there's a lot of alchemy in that, where we take that hard shit that we've gone through and those hard life experiences, and we transform it and we turn it into gold. And Pluto is very much about alchemy and digging deep. So really dig deep within yourself and get real about those things that you want. And again, Taurus is all about those things that we want and those things that we value and our basic human needs. So this new moon is really helping us to come back to what matters most to us. And we're still pretty fresh out of this 6-week-long Venus retrograde, and Venus is still technically in her retrograde shadow and conjunct Saturn. So this is about making a commitment to ourselves and getting serious about those things that we truly want. And if you're not really sure what you want, just starting small and reflecting on those things that you like and those things that you're passionate about and those things that just kind of excite you and light you up from the inside. And so just taking one step at a time and taking that first step into the unknown. Because remember, Taurus is a very like slow and steady and deliberate, one thing at a time kind of energy. So for this new moon, really try to ground yourself and connect with the earth in some way. Again, Taurus is this energy of like fertile soil. So really take some time to reflect on those seeds that you're planting right now. And if you have those resources and the nutrients and minerals needed to grow and nurture this little seedling. And if you don't have those resources, then you could set the intention to bring in the necessary resources. And I know I'm using like a lot of plant analogies and like nurturing this little seedling, but really also nurture yourself because Taurus energy is a very nourishing energy. And it's all about tending to ourselves as if we are our own garden. So that's all about taking good care of ourselves and tending to our wants and our needs and allowing ourselves this time to rest and regenerate if we need it. Whether that means like going to bed earlier or eating foods that feel good to our body or drinking more water and making sure we're well hydrated or moving our body more. Whatever feels nourishing and replenishing to you. So with Taurus season and especially this new moon, we're going to be drawn to finding those things that help us feel more stable and secure. And so for a lot of us, this might start with our own feelings of self-worth and feeling worthy and feeling deserving. And, taking good care of our physical bodies and honoring our wants and our needs and our desires. And it really starts with feeling secure in your physical body. That really lays like a solid foundation for security to echo out into all other areas of life. And this really is just like a step-by-step process. It's slow and steady wins the race. It's not like you're gonna wake up the day of the new moon and be like, I feel secure. But it starts with honoring yourself and trusting yourself and valuing yourself by appreciating yourself even just a little bit more each day. And again, even just like honoring your wants and needs. And through this process, you come to accept yourself more and more. And each one of us are very different, obviously, but at our core, all we want is to feel accepted. So when you can accept yourself, you don't really need that external acceptance or validation. And that really like puts the power in your own hands again. And I think a large part of acceptance is about being present and finding ways to feel content, moment to moment. So that means finding those moments of peace and finding gratitude for those things that you have in the moment. And so the more that you can sit in those feelings of like gratitude and appreciation and contentment, the more you can attract those things that bring you that feeling of peace. So allow yourself this time to just be, be in the moment and remain open and receptive to those things that you may have been putting on the back burner that you like secretly really do want. And with Taurus energy, it gets that, stereotype for being lazy, but Taurus is not lazy. It just sits and waits for exactly what it is that it wants. And it will not settle for anything less. So to sum up, as far as intentions go, this is all about setting intentions to bring in abundance. So you could set intentions around like your finances and bringing in abundance that way. Or you could set intentions around self-worth and your value. Like where are you settling and where can you ask for more? Or you could set intentions around stability and security and like that slow and steady growth. This new moon is not about like overnight success, but it is about building something stable and secure and something very long lasting. So where in your life do you crave more security? You could also set intentions around bringing in more pleasure and more things that bring you joy. Taurus wants us to feel good and, kind of indulge in those senses that we get to enjoy as humans. So maybe treat yourself a little bit. Like if you've been craving ice cream, then maybe let yourself indulge and have a little ice cream. Or if you're like me, indulge in some Thai food. Or maybe it's like cooking yourself a nourishing meal or, lighting your favorite candle that you've been saving for a special day and like listening to your favorite music. Or maybe it's taking like a nice soothing bath or, drinking your favorite tea. Just allow yourself to be present and enjoy the present moment in whatever way that means for you. Also use this time to connect with nature and ground yourself that way, whether that means, like taking your shoes off and actually getting your feet into the grass and visualizing, these roots coming out of your feet and just like grounding you deep down into the earth. And then paying attention to nature, like the sounds that you hear, like what birds do you hear, and paying attention to the smells of nature. You could even hug a tree if you wanted. It's surprisingly very healing. Taurus is just like very earthy, so we want to honor the earth in some way today. This new moon is a reminder that slow and steady is not boring, but it is incredibly powerful. It brings the growth that actually lasts. So be patient with yourself and plant those seeds with love and intention. And I think that's all I've got for this new moon, but if this video resonated with you at all, be sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment with your new moon in Taurus intentions. And so until next time, remember to stay grounded and honor yourself, and I'll see you later. Love you, bye!